Hey, so it is Reality Talk Part 2. Welcome back. Alright, if you have not seen my the part 1 of the Reality Talk, please go check it out. So I'm going to continue from where I stopped in the previous video. In the last video, we ended that video by talking about how parents communicate. And in this video, with the main topic, sex education with your teenager, we are going to start this video with a subtopic, how children react. Yes, there is a way parents communicate and there is a way their children also react. All of this is opening us up to prepare us on how to go about sex educating these children. When you know all of this, you have known how the parents react, then you know how the children react. I beg your pardon, you've known how parents communicate, then how the children react, step by step, to the last point. Okay, younger children may be curious and interested when parents talk about sexual issues, whereas the older ones seem to, when you're talking about it, what is mommy going to tell me about it? I'm not interested. Why? Because they have heard it from their peers. You would fail to give them the first-hand information. So they got it from their peers. And what? They stick to it. So any other thing you are saying doesn't make any sense to them. That's the reason I said in my previous video that it is always good for you to open a communication line, and it's always good for this information to come directly from you. Having gone through the stage, it will be easier for you. But if you allow your children to get information outside, this is going to be their first reaction. The next one is that an older child may feel like they know it all. An older child can be dismissive when their parents discuss sex with them, which shakes parents' confidence. You know, when you begin to ask your child, have you started menstruating? Have you started having a wet dream? And all of that. And that your child will like, Mommy, what do you mean? Daddy, what do you mean? It's my private life. Your confidence as a parent will be shaken. You are afraid. There is this fear that will just grip you. As in, for my child to respond like this, hey, are you sure somebody have not told him? That's exactly. That is it. Sometimes they may not have heard anyway. They are hearing from you for the first time. Their reaction can also be like this, whichever way. Okay. The child can feel as embarrassed and awkward as their parents and may prefer not to talk about sex with them at all. Your child will not talk about sex with you at all if you are a strict person. So even if you decide to bring the topic up, it will be what? Pretty difficult. So please, as a parent or a caregiver, work on this. It will make you have a better feeling with your teenagers. Very free. They will be very open to tell you just everything and anything, no matter where they have gotten the information from. Because they have a show that will always lean on. They have somebody that will always give them a listening ear. They come back and pour it out. And you will filter it for them. And they will be able to pick and hold on to the ones that are what? Okay, because they trust you. Okay, if parents don't ever talk about this subject of sex, the child tends to assume the parent don't want to talk about it, so the child never bothers to ask them. My father doesn't talk about it. My mother, no. So there's no point discussing anything with you. I'm sure we are good with that. Now we are going to look at successful communication. How to have a communication that will be what? Successful. Okay. It has been proven over and time again that families that talk about everything openly about sex issues have certain traits. They have something that is peculiar. And these things that are peculiar includes the following. The parents are good listeners. Yes. When you have parents that are good listeners, not when your child wants to talk, you shut him down or shut her down. Mommy, there's this thing I heard or they said in school, I want to confirm from you. Shut up. What is it? I'm busy. I'm doing this. I don't have time. I'm weak. But if you are the type that gives listening ear, it's okay. The parent provide truthful answers to their children's questions. Yeah. When a child asks you, what is menstruation? You don't go about telling the child that no, it's for big people. That's not a correct answer. But if you just tell the child, this is what it is. I think that will solve a whole lot of problems. The child is allowed to have opinions about sexual issues and voice them out without fear of getting yelled at or punished. You understand that? Sometimes you are talking about something and your child just tells you, yes, Mommy, I even heard that there are some people that their menstruation lasts for 5-7 days. And some other people, there are some boys that even start having relationship at 17 years or 15 years old. And you say, what? What nonsense? Oh, so it means that you too, you have started. That child feels what? Embarrassed and awkward. But for parents that are listeners, the child feels free to express him or herself. Okay, the parent don't insist that the child stick to strict and inflexible standards of behavior. This was the way I grew up and you must follow that way. Remember, we are talking about what? Successful communication. These are the traits that are common with parents who have beautiful way of communicating with their children. Okay, the child feels listened to, understood, and supported by their what? Parents. That is it. But if you are the strict type, the reverse will be the case of all of these points. Cool? So you got to work on what? Your communication skills. Now moving forward, let's go into what? Preparing yourself. You see, we are gradually getting there. That's why I told you that this is a step-by-step teaching. So that if you are among those who are saying, how do I start? I can't even talk about it. Nobody told me about it. How am I going to do it with my children? We are doing a gradual process. Okay, preparing yourself. How are you going to prepare yourself? Now that you have gotten some of these informations, how are you going to prepare yourself so that you dive into this? All right. One of the things you must do in preparing yourself is what? Learn as much as you can. Learning doesn't stop until you go into the grave. Provided you are alive, whether you are 90 or 100, you don't stop learning. Issues your older children or teenager is keen to hear you talk about include those puberty, like I've mentioned in my previous video, reproduction, sexuality, unplanned pregnancy, and whatever. You don't know much about them? Learn. There is Google. You Google them. You listen to tapes. You attend seminars. That is one aspect. When you have the knowledge, then to disseminate the information is not going to be a problem. Okay. The next thing you have to do is what? Have backup informations. Get age-appropriate books, articles, and videos to help you. Have backup informations. Those things are everywhere. So don't be a stereotype kind of parent. Ask questions from people who have teenagers who are also adults already. What book did you use? What tape? Did you use any video? You get them. Okay, practice. That is the third thing you must do in preparing yourself. Try out what you plan to say and how, or your partners or friends. Try the words out, and so you can feel comfortable with them. just like me, most times, my husband and I does that a lot. Sweet, I want to talk about this. How will it be? And he will tell me, okay, talk to me about it. So, no, this one doesn't come out fine. I think if you put it this way, it will be, okay. He will always tell me, I'm your first audience, just like you are my first audience. Yeah. In preparing yourself, you have to what? Try out, rehearse. Okay. The next point is that make it a regular topic. Think of sex education as an ongoing process. I have mentioned that in my previous video. So you make it a regular topic. Then the next point is you plan ahead. Plan ahead. Plan ahead. Don't wait for your child to bring the subject up. They may figure you are unapproachable and not ask you. Plan to start a conversation about sex yourself. This is very important. When you wait for your child to say, Mommy, what does it mean for a woman to be pregnant? Mommy, what does it mean for somebody to be hippie? Mommy, what does it mean for someone to go through ovulation? You wouldn't even know where to start. So that's why you need to plan ahead. Don't let them bring the topic. Okay? Aim for a friendly chat. Very beautiful. Try to see the talks as two-way discussion, not lecture. Make it friendly. I've mentioned it before. If you are open, you talk to your children like friends. That way, it makes the whole thing very interesting and less stressful. Less stressful. Plan to ask what your child thinks and feels. Aim to get a lively discussion going. Yes. Cecilia, yes, Mommy. So, how far? What do you think about, pregnancy? What's your thought about pregnancy? What's your thought about, premarital sex? You should be the one to bring it up. Hear her point of view. That will make you know if the information is deforming, then you correct it quickly. And if it is informing, you would encourage her more. You give her a thumbs up. All right. As it is, we are going to end this video in this, hoping that you are taking that step. Be a good parent and be intentional about it. Till I see you in the last video, in the final video, that's the part 3. Remain blessed. Bye.